Welcome to Chasing News. I'm Bill Spadia. We've got a huge show for you tonight. Radio icon, at least in our area, Craig Carton, carted away in handcuffs today, accused of fraud. Wait till you hear this story. That and Hurricane Irma bearing down on our friends in Puerto Rico. This hurricane is the largest hurricane on record to come out of the Atlantic. I know many of you are scrambling to get in touch with friends and relatives. We'll have all the details coming up. And Senator Cory Booker. Cory's cameo. Where was he today? You know what? Wait till you see this. How about hugging his friend, Senator Bob Menendez, as Menendez's corruption trial gets underway? But let's start with this conversation about Craig Carton. Craig Carton, one half of the Boomer and Carton show on WFAN Sports Talk Radio, in a whole lot of trouble for what the authorities are alleging is a $5 million ticket scam. Brian Donahue has all the details. Brian, what do you got?
Craig Carton, the morning co-host on WFAN Sports Radio in New York, was arrested outside his Manhattan home this morning by federal authorities on charges of investment fraud. The Securities Exchange Commission alleges Carton lured investors into a fraudulent ticket resale business that may have not even existed. It's a scheme he hatched as he apparently struggled with massive gambling debts, they allege. Carton, he hosts alongside former NFL quarterback Boomer Esiason. He was not on the air this morning. The statement put out by the station read, "We are aware of the situation and are cooperating with authorities." Now, Boomer and Carton is the show that New Jersey Governor Chris Christie often co-hosts alongside Carton when Boomer is on vacation. Christie has described him as a good friend. Now, Carton is a guy who has spent a lot of time over the years poking fun at people. If you don't follow sports, you live in New Jersey, you may remember him as the former host on 101.5 in the afternoons, and he drew the ire of former Governor Richard Cody for comments that Carton made about Cody's wife and how she had suffered with postpartum depression. There have been other flaps in the past, and folks on Twitter were not above a little schadenfreude today. Social media running wild with this. How about this gif of Mike Francesa, the afternoon host on WFAN, with whom Carton has a little bit of a rivalry, supposedly arriving at work today. That's a funny one. Or this tweet from NBC sports writer Craig Calcaterra, who says, quote, "The last time I was on Carton's show, he called me a fraud, so pardon me if I die laughing." Well, it looks like what goes around comes around. We'll see what becomes of this. Reporting for Chasing News, I'm Brian Donahue.
Thank you, Brian. All right, I want to bring in our A-plus panel to break this down. What a disastrous day for a radio talk show host. Jeanette Hoffman, political strategist, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Bill.
Wayne Smith, former mayor and head of Wayne Smith Associates, good to have you. And Bob Bianchi, former Morris County prosecutor. Bob, let me start with you. What can we expect? This has got to be, what was it, a shock, do you think? Are most of these perps, when they get arrested and taken out of their home early in the morning, they're surprised to see it? What do you think?
I mean, listen, even as a prosecutor, when we would execute search warrants and arrest people, you had to feel a little bit bad. You would be inhuman if you didn't. They're being arrested out of their home. They're otherwise citizens that are respected in the community. They're being carted off into a jail. Their property's being taken. Search warrants are probably being executed. Electronic data devices are being taken from them. It is an extremely unnerving thing to put anybody through.
All right, let's switch this up on a political. Now, I know, Jeanette, you're not listening to the Fan in the Morning because I'm on 6 to 10 a.m. on New Jersey 101.5. But this is the job that Chris Christie wanted.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but let's talk about Craig Carton. I know he's innocent until proven guilty and all that stuff, but I think he's guilty of being a terrible person. I mean, he got his radio career here in New Jersey bashing immigrants, making fun of the governor's wife when she came forward with postpartum depression. I don't think the guy has a moral compass at all. So I think where there's smoke, there's fire. That being said, yeah, this is the job that Governor Christie originally wanted, and he kind of took himself out of consideration. So you have to wonder, did he know something was going on?
What did Christie know, and when did he know it?
We'll see.
Mayor, what do you think?
I don't know, but I will say this, and I go back to this fundamental American principle. You're innocent until proven guilty. So this guy's got to have his day in court. But listen, for his political commentary, which he shouldn't be on a sports show talking about anyway, it's ridiculous. I mean, but in this particular case, let's see what happens. And I will say this, I disagree with my distinguished counsel here. you know, the prosecutor doesn't always get it
Wait,
right.
you disagree?
I disagree.
Yell
with
at him a little bit, because you know what? I gotta believe there's more emotion behind that disagreement.
I didn't say the prosecutor got it right, but what I said is that the feds have a tremendous amount of resources. They have the power of the grand jury. They prepare their cases with the FBI. Are people found not guilty? And I agree with you afterwards. Absolutely, but these are usually pretty well resourced.
This is the U.S. attorney
events.
for the Southern District of New York. They've been building this case for a long time, it seems.
Right.
Trump actually appointed somebody after he booted the guy out.
All right, well, either way, whoever replaces him, there's another show on 6 to 10 a.m., which you ought to be listening to.